بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين وصلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا أبي القاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين أجل الله تعالى فرجه الشريف اللهم كل وليك الحجة ابن الحسن صلواتك عليه وعلى آبائه في هذه الساعة وفي كل ساعة وليا وحافظا وقائدا وناصرا ودليلا وعينا حتى تسكنه أرضك طوعا وتمتعه فيها طويلا برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. This is our third and last session on social wilayah. So far, alhamdulillah, we managed to study the concept of wilayah and the main elements in wilayah. We compared then the wilayah which exists in the camp of haqq and truth with the wilayah which exists in the camp of falsehood and batil. And then we said that wilayah is a relation that is from top to bottom, from bottom to top, and horizontal. We also said that the wilayah is not repeated by repetition of the people. It's not that for every person we have one wilayah between him or her and the masters. Wilayah is a general relation that connects all mu'mineen with each other and with the masters. So if I am a mu'min, my relation with my brothers and sisters and with my imam and with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, all are connected. And there is no way to think that you can just focus on imam or Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and forget the rest of the members of the community. We said it's like the thread that connects all the seeds of tasbih. It's like an ocean that all drops of water get together, get united. The borders between drops of water go away and they become united. Unfortunately, we said people have mistakenly thought that wilayah is something just to believe in, and we said this is a misconception. Wilayah is something to practice. When you say one of the furu'ud-din is salat, is it enough someone says, I believe that salat is wajib, and you don't practice? I believe that hajj is wajib, but I don't go to hajj. When we say taballi and tabarri are two furu'ud-din, it means that you have to believe in them and you have to practice them. You cannot just say, I believe that I should love, Amirul Mu'mineen and his, for example, Shia. It's something you have to practice. Then we said that a measure of our love for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, our love for Prophet, for Ahlul Bayt, is how much we love each other. So just to love Allah, we said it's not enough. We have to love for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. and we mentioned this hadith from Misbah al-Sharia, al-muhibbu fillah muhibbullah. The one who loves others for the sake of Allah, he is a lover of Allah. If you want to be a lover of Allah, you have to love others for the sake of Allah. And we said two things that you need in order to love Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. One is to remember His blessings. One is to love other people. If you love other people, Allah puts His love in your heart. وَجَبَتْ مَحَبَّتِي لِلْمُتَحَابِّينَ فِيَّ. My love is necessary for those who love each other for my sake. And then we referred to some hadith, ziyarat, du'as, in which very clearly Ahlul Bayt have taught us that the way for taqarrub, ataqarrabu, I don't want to repeat everything we said, the way for getting near to Allah and to them is بِمُوَالَاتِكُمْ وَمُوَالَاتِ وَلِيِّكُمْ. Their wilayah and wilayah of their friends, their followers, their awliya. And then we ended, I think, at the end of the second session with this hadith of Burayd al-Ijli to Imam Baqir alayhi salam, that when he said to Imam that, "Oh Imam, you have lots of Shia in Kufa. Why don't you uprise against Bani Umayyah?" And Imam alayhi salam wanted to check, wanted to test, but he didn't ask about the number or about, what they have prepared, weaponaries and so. No. He said, أَيَّضَعُ أَحَدُكُمْ يَدَهُ فِي كِيسَ أَخِيهِ فَيَأْخُذُ حَاجَتَهُ. Is your relation so intimate and you have established so much of trust and love that if one of you is in need and his brother is not there, he can put his hand in the pocket of his brother, the pack of his brother, and take what he needs? He said, no. Then Imam said, فَهُمْ بِدِمَائِهِمْ أَبْخَلْ. In one hadith, we have this concept that when, inshallah, Imam Zaman comes, جَاءَتِ الْمُزَامَلَةِ. When he comes, Muzamala comes. Then they ask, what is Muzamala? Muzamala, literally in Arabic, today we say Zamil. For your classmate or your colleague, you say Zamil. Zumala, Zamil, yeah, colleague, classmate. In Arabic, when two people were traveling and they were sitting on the two sides of a camel, they were called Zamil. Like a co-traveler. So this is the literal meaning. But here, a deeper meaning is meant. When Imam was asked, what is Muzamala? Imam said, when Imam Zaman comes, if someone needs money or anything, he can put his hand in the pocket of his brother and take what he needs. So this is not something that only Imam Baqir asked from Burayd al-Ijli about Kufa. This is a general requirement that if you want to test how honest people are in sending their invitation to Imam, you should test them by this. How much they love each other. How much they are ready to sacrifice for each other. Not just how much they pray or they fast or do good things on their own. No. How is their brotherhood, sisterhood? In those lectures about Wilayah, I refer to this also writing tawqi of Imam Zaman, Ajjalallahu Ta'ala Farajahu Sharif, in which he said, لو أن أشياعنا وفقهم الله لطاعته على اجتماع من الأمر. If our Shia were united in their affairs and they were loyal to their covenant, لما تأخر عنهم اليمن بلقائنا, the blessing of meeting us would not be delayed. وَلَتَعَجَّلَتْ لَهُمُ السَّعَادَةُ بِمُشَاهَدَتِنَا, and the happiness, blessing of meeting us would be brought earlier. So, why Imam Zaman is not today with us? Why Imam Zaman was not with the Shia 100 years ago, 200 years ago? The answer is the same. Because so far there has been no generation of the Shia who have established this unity between themselves. And if the situation is going to continue like this, Ghaiba is also going to continue like this. Pardon? Which one? This is the tawqi, written message. لو أن أشياعنا وفقهم الله لطاعته على اجتماع من الأمر والوفاء بما عليهم من العهد لما تأخر عنهم اليمن بلقائنا ولتعجلت لهم السعادة بمشاهدتنا. Maybe a little bit variation in the words because I'm using my memory, but 99% is this, like this. So this is a very great message. If you want Imam Zaman to come and save humanity and establish universal justice and peace and brotherhood, we need to get united. We think that Imam Zaman is not coming because he's waiting for zulm to fill all over the world, and still there is no enough zulm. No, zulm is enough. Zulm has such a nature, even a little of it is too much. Yeah? Even the Quran says, ظهر الفساد في البر والبحر بما كسبت أيدي الناس. So even in the time of revelation of Quran, zulm was already enough. The question is, who is going to help Imam in establishing justice? If you are waiting for someone who is going to offer justice, offer brotherhood, offer unity, you have to pave the way. Imagine if there is an epidemic disease, many people are dying, many people are suffering, and there is only one doctor who has the treatment for this problem. And you are waiting for him to come. So what do? You try to set up a hospital or clinic. You try to train nurses who can help him. You try to prepare everything so that when he comes, he has a team at his service, and then he can offer his treatment. You cannot expect him to come and say, okay, we have to get this land, then we have to get permission to build it, then we make a clinic, then we need, beds, we need, to train people, as nurses, then I start my treatment. You have to do all these necessary arrangements so that he comes, he takes over. Sometimes I say to people that if we are, fair, just let us be fair. Is it fair that we expect Imam Zaman to come and solve the problems inside Shia families and Shia communities? And then when he finishes this, then we say, okay, now let's go and do your universal mission? Or we have to show to Imam Zaman that we have so much of understanding and maturity that we have sorted out our local problems and now we need someone to guide us for solving international problems. Yeah? If someone is able to function on international level, you shouldn't ask him, to fix the roof of my house. This is a man who is the last Hujjah of Allah, and he is going to accomplish the mission of all the messengers of God. Because Allah says, لَقَدْ أَرْسَلْنَا رُسُلَنَا بِالْبَيِّنَاتِ وَأَنزَلْنَا مَعَهُمُ الْكِتَابَ وَالْمِيزَانِ لِيَقُومَ النَّاسُ بِالْقِسْطِ. All the messengers came so that people stand up for qist, social justice. Who is going to accomplish this? يَمْلَأُ اللَّهُ بِهِ الْأَرْضَ قِسْطًا وَعَدْلًا بَعْدَمَا مُلْأَتْ ظُلْمًا. He is going to establish this. Okay, now this man who is going to establish what all the messengers tried, and each by his capacity tried to take some measures forward, then we say he comes and sorts out problems between us. This Shia center, that Shia center, this alim, that alim, this family, that family still have problems. They cannot work together. So if the situation is going to be like this, I can assure you Imam is not going to come. But if we are united, if between us we establish what Imam wants to offer to humanity, so that Imam can look at us as, mashallah, these are united people, these are voices of justice and equity, they don't do zulm to anyone. Now with them, I can invite other people. Sometimes people may be listening to those who say good things, beautiful words. And after some time they realize that it was not honest. Many people, for example, became communist, Marxist, because they heard good things. After some time, they didn't see reality. Now we reached a point that now people hardly trust anyone. They cannot believe in anything. The only thing that can bring people is when you offer something, you can show them sample. If we are going to tell people we have a way of life that gives everyone honor and dignity and justice and peace, then they tell me, show me where you have established this. Is it just an ideal or it's a reality? I say, please look at my community. We have established this among ourselves. We have observed justice between us and other people. Then when people see that logic plus this example, يَدْخُلُونَ فِي دِينِ اللَّهِ أَفْوَاجًا. But if you just talk and preach, but people look at your community and see you are yourself divided and you have lots of problems, then they say, first, go and solve your problems, then we can think about it. If you say to people, I have a solution for stopping poverty all over the world. Then people say, okay, what about your family? Say, my family are all poor. Then they laugh at me. If your family are all poor, so how can you offer a solution for eradication of poverty in the world? If I say, I want to educate all people of the world. We want to combat, for example, illiteracy. They say, who are your friends and, family members and allies? A bunch of illiterate people. They will laugh at me. So, if Imam Zaman says, I want to offer justice, and then people look at us and say, husband is doing zulm to wife, wife to, husband, in-laws to each other, neighbors, partners, no unity, they laugh at us. So it's better and it's logical that he would not come unless we establish this ourselves, we prove that we are committed. As we said in Dua Nudbeh, we are able to gather around him. أترانا نحف بك وأنت تأم الملا. So we can be helping him, and then he would be able to function as a leader for humanity. This beautiful hadith of Amir al-Mu'mineen alayhi salam has to be always remembered about companions of Imam Mahdi. Imam, according to this hadith, says one of their qualities is they have great determination. Determination is very important, especially if you want to do something on a large scale. For sure you are going to face lots of resistance, lots of pressure. You have to be very persistent. In those lectures about aqaid, we said that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala out of humanity has selected 124,000 prophets. Out of 124,000 prophets, 313 are Rasul. Yeah? So 124,000 Nabi, 313 Rasul. Out of 313, 5 are selected. What are they called? Ulul Azm. Not Ulul Ilm, not Ulul Hikmah. Although they had knowledge, they had hikmah, but Ulul Azm. The key is determination. And when it comes to Adam, Allah says, Lam najid lahu azma. Adam was very good, but he didn't just have determination. So, determination is very important. The companions of Imam Mahdi and those who want to be qualifying themselves to be companions of Imam, they should be determined. The hadith is this. It says, لو هموا بإزالة الجبال الرواسي لأزالوها. If the companions of Imam Mahdi want to move mountains, they move mountains. They are so determined that then when they make a decision, they make impossible things possible. It doesn't mean that they make silly decisions. No, they make decisions after careful assessment. But they are so determined that if they have to make a road in a jungle, they have to, make a tunnel, they can make it. If you tell them, we need, for example, to make a hospital here, a school here, whatever, they do it. لو هموا بإزالة الجبال الرواسي لأزالوها. And then they are so close with each other, so united, that when you look at them, you think they are brought up by the same father and mother. كأنما رباهم أب واحد وأم واحدة. Maybe one of them is from China, one of them is from, Argentina, one is Mexican, one is Iraqi, one is Pakistani. It doesn't matter. Their mentality is the same. Their akhlaq is the same. Their behavior is the same. You think they are brought up in the same family. You know, imagine if there is, for example, an Iraqi, for example, family who has adopted a child from India, for example. Yeah, so there is an adopted child from India and they have their own children, but they are brought up together from childhood. When you look at them, you see their appearance is different, but their mentality is the same. Their akhlaq is the same. كأنما رباهم أب واحد وأم واحدة قلوبهم مجتمعة بالمحبة والنصيحة. Their hearts are united with love and nasiha. Nasiha means to wish good for each other. And this is possible. It's not an exaggeration. It's possible. You know, we have seen, alhamdulillah, among Shia and also among other communities, that there are people that despite their differences in ethnicity, they are like brothers and sisters from the same family. It's possible, it's not impossible. You can see this in another area, sometimes, you know, in businesses you can see this. That big businesses, if they have, you know, international activities, if you go to any branch of them, they give you the same service, the same treatment. But apart from that, even in religious communities we have. Alhamdulillah, for example, with some Hausa students, you know, we were studying together. We had such thing between us. It didn't matter to us who is from where. We were like brothers. And we have seen this in also some other communities, non-Muslim communities. They have established this. So we have to work hard for establishing this unity. Otherwise, Imam is not going to come. Otherwise, our iman is not complete. As I said yesterday, Rasulullah said, وَالَّذِي نَفْسِي بِيَدِهِ لَن تَدْخُلُوا الْجَنَّةَ حَتَّى تُؤْمِنُوا وَلَن تُؤْمِنُوا حَتَّى تَحَابُّوا. You don't go into heaven without iman, and you don't have iman without loving each other. So in dunya, you would not have sa'adah of being with Imam, and in akhirah you won't have sa'adah of going to heaven if you don't love each other. So what should now we do? The most difficult part is here now. So far this was something that we didn't pay enough attention, but I hope it's clarified. What should we do now? This is the main thing, and this is the most difficult thing, and this is something for which I don't have ready answer. But I share few ideas, and I hope you have also some ideas, you know, I can learn from you. This is something that we need to work together and think together, and inshallah Allah will, you know, inspire us to go further. One thing is, this has to be put very clearly in our education. Whether it be in family, in madrasa, in a school if we have a school, in our majalis, this must be a message that constantly comes, that Wilayah is not individual. Wilayah is collective, is social. You are not mu'min unless you show that you are able to act as a member of the community. You think first for the good of the community. You try to represent your community. And you know that in dunya and akhirah, you can only be happy if your community is happy. You can only prosper if your community prospers. This has to be put in every ground for education that we have, this message should come. Sometimes, I say to brothers and sisters that we are not true Shia in this sense. Wilayah is the soul, is the spirit of Islam. Those who are not believers in Wilayah, they have everything. They have all the parts. They are Muslims. We recognize them as Muslims. They believe in Tawheed, Nubuwwah, Ma'at, Salat, Zakat, Hajj. They believe in everything. They are Muslim. Because if someone doesn't believe in one of the parts of Islam, which is self-evidently known to be part of Islam, then he is not Muslim. If someone says, I don't believe in Hajj, I don't believe in Quran, I don't believe in Ma'ad, he's not Muslim. If someone says, I don't believe in Imamah, he's a Muslim. Why? What is the answer?
He's a Muslim but not a Muslim.
Pardon?
He's a Muslim.
Yeah, but why he's a Muslim?
You still need evidence to prove Imamah. But Muslim is just like man shahada shahadatayn, like la ilaha illallah.
Yes. Yes, there are two ways to explain this. One is that because Imamah is not self-evident. It's not that if you deny it, it's because you don't believe in Islam. There are many people who maybe they don't know. But there is another way to explain this. And that is, Imamah is not a part like other parts. If you deny any part, you are not Muslim. But Imamah is the spirit. Ma nudiya b'shay'in kama nudiya bil wilayah. Wilayah is different. Wilayah is the soul. Sometimes you have a body, doesn't have hand or leg or eye or ear. Something is missing and you can quickly see. Sometimes you see body is there, but there is no aql, for example. There is no life. Everything is complete. Yeah, but there is no direction. There is no reaction. It's jahiliyyah. Mata mitat al-jahiliyyah. Man mata wa lam ya'rif imama zamanihi mata mitat al-jahil. So, Wilayah and Imamah are the spirit, are the soul. But the soul of Wilayah, the soul of the soul, the spirit of the spirit is this social side. So we have gone one step further compared to non-Shia. We understood Wilayah, but we didn't come to the end of the journey, and that is to establish social Wilayah, to love each other for the sake of Allah. So we are not 100% Shia. We are not Shia. We are half Shia. Still we have not become mature in our being Shia. Just like a person who has been only to primary school. He has not yet gone to higher school and higher education. We are still like children in being a Shia. Where is that قلوبهم مجتمعة بالمحبة والنصيحة? Do you see it? Is there any country in the world or even any town in the world that the Shia are united? They have organized themselves. They have one leader or a group of leaders. They have put all the resources under that leadership. They plan together, they work together. Everyone is working for the same cause. Do you know any such city in the world that Shia have established this unity between themselves? Unfortunately, it seems not that much, as far as I know. It's not the case. Even in one town, we have not been establishing this. Even if a town has 100 families, we don't have this unity. we have always thought this is something marginal. The main thing is to pray, to fast, to have majalis for Imam Hussein. Why we should have one majlis? I have my majlis, you have your majlis, that person has another majlis. The more majalis we have, the better. This is wrong. Majalis are supposed to unite us, not to divide us. But everyone says, I want to get reward, so I want to have another majlis. If you want reward, close your majlis and ask people to go to another majlis. This is a misconception that it must be something that I have done it. Otherwise, I don't get reward. So, once, somewhere in Canada, they told me, we have, 12, 14 Urdu majalis in this town. But I told myself, I don't know, I should be happy or I should be sad. Do you have 12, 14 majalis because the community is so grown that every place was filled, there was no space, then they had to, for example, go to another place? Or you are 12, 14 because every few people who cannot get together, then they split and they start another center. You see, our centers are not increasing in number because the facilities are not enough or we don't have enough space. They are increasing because one is Iraqi, one is Arab, one is Pakistani, one is Indian, one is Khoja, then this is from Punjab, this is from another part of Pakistan, this is from this part of Iraq, this is another political party. These people, when they serve niyaz, they want to have spice. These people want to have oil. Our food, is not the same. We cannot have, majalis together because food is different. Our children, cannot play together. They don't get along. These are the reasons for opening new centers. We are not saying that, okay, alhamdulillah, the Shia community is growing. We form one committee and we ask them to give us a strategic plan how we should put our resources so that, for example, all over this town with reasonable distance, we have centers. And each center should be with all the facilities, equipments. No, it's just, I sit, for example, with my friend and I say, let's open a center. Then another person who has a, donor says, let me open a center. And just we are dividing the community. So, we have to put this in our education. From the beginning till we die, that the sign of our iman is to love for the sake of Allah, to work for unity. If you are muwahhid, you must bring people together. You cannot be muwahhid and break the community. This is one thing that is obvious that we have to do. The second thing is we have to start somewhere. I cannot wait for you, you wait for me, and then nothing happens. Or I cannot complain, I say, why, for example, our leaders don't do anything. They are also doing their best. And a mu'min is always more concerned about what I can do, not what other people should do. Because it's not helping. If I waste my energy, what other people should do that they are not doing. And I think everyone is trying. Let me be a, power force for change. We as few students, we as few, professionals, few businessmen, few friends, let's see what we can do. Not by opening a new center, but by establishing this unity between us. Let us start with 5 people. So each of you should be able to find at least 4 people outside his family with whom he can establish this unity. If I cannot expect you to open your pocket for millions of people, but I can ask you, brother, at least 4 people that you trust them, and as a sign of your iman, you are able to share with them your time, your energy. They can rely on you, you can rely on them. This is not because they are needy or you are needy. This is a sign of your commitment. As Imam alayhi salam said, if they are ready to give money to each other, they can give life. Otherwise, فَهُمْ بِدِمَائِهِمْ أَبْخَلْ. So if we start with 5 people, so for example, in Montreal, in Ottawa, in Toronto, we can have groups of 5. Then we can have larger groups. These 5 and these 5 can get together. Then we can have groups of 10s. Then we can connect the cities to each other. So we can have, you know, I can tell you, if you have 100 united people, is better than 100,000 divided people. Amir al-Mu'minin alayhi salam had tens of thousands of people. Imam Hassan alayhi salam, when he left for battle, he had tens of thousands of people, but there was no benefit in them. They were actually troubles. If we can have 1,000 united Shia in Canada, that قلوبهم مجتمعة بالمحبة والنصيحة, they are ready to share with each other whatever they have, they trust each other, they are ready to die for each other, you can change the world. So everyone should try to establish this. And as I said, this is a gift that you can offer to Imam Zaman, that, oh Imam, as a small member of the community, I have managed to bring this unity to 5 people, to 10 people, to 20 people. I have managed to bring unity to, for example, students in this university. I have managed to bring unity to student societies in 5 universities, in Eastern Coast, in whole Canada. So the plan should be to establish unity over unity. And this needs persistence, this needs patience, this needs sacrifice. This needs to have a big heart, this needs sharh sadr. Not that, you know, for every little thing we boycott each other. For every little thing we fight each other. We accuse each other. This is not acceptable. There are other things that if we go into a more detailed discussion, maybe, you know, we can discuss. But I very much want to learn from you what you think we can do to start this somewhere. And what you think, or based on your experience, what you can do at least to establish this among few people.
I have a view, but it's like on a longer term.
Yeah.
Like even like Sayyid Khomeini, rahimahullah, when he started thinking about the revolution, he didn't like do it in the last day. Like he waited a bit, and he depended on the young people, the new generation, who were like filled with the revolutionary thoughts. So, as you said, Maulana, like even the non-Muslims, when they look at our community, they will say that you're not even like together. How should we be all together? And we can make it more specific. If we want to make one community and our family is divided, like between the husband and the wife and the kids, how can we build a community? So in my view, I think like from the ayah to أنفسكم وأهليكم. So maybe if we started to do this social wilayah between the husband and the wife, and we raised our children on this thought, and every family, like 5 families, raise the new children on this thought, the new generation will automatically have this thought in them. But it will need a bit of time, like 10 years, 15 years, to have like a new generation.
But this is important and we must do this, but if our children don't see this in us, then they won't accept this. So we have also to do this, ourselves. So it should come in parallel. You educate children with this mentality, but also you try to set up examples that your children can look at those examples. They can say, okay, my father, mother themselves worked for unity. Yes. Who is moderator? Yes.
Because the sisters are raising their hands. So
I'm sorry.
Okay.
I was distracted. Bismillah. So, Sister Sarah, anyone else so far?
myself.
Yes, okay.
In my experience, what we've done in Ottawa is having about discussions. Sometimes we would have a big number of people, so not just the study partners, but bigger people. And we've been doing that recently, and that's helped a lot in building stronger brotherhood.
Sorry, what?
I missed part of what the sister said. Could you just repeat?
Yes, I was just saying, recently we tried to organize some Mubahaqa sessions in Ottawa with not just the study partners, but larger groups of members of KLC who are art in Ottawa. So that's helped a lot to build the strong brotherhood.
What?
So she said that recently, I missed actually so you asked a question, how can we
Yes.
enhance? Okay. So sister said they have organized Mubahaqa circles.
Very good.
Not only with people that are in KLC, but just to kind of enlarge the discussion within the community.
Very good, thank you.
So I think that we are living in the West, and the West encourages individualism. So we are actually battling with the media and everything that feeds our children, even in the schools, towards being individualistic. And I remember one of the sisters who converted maybe 10, 15 years ago, when she came to the mosque the first time, her child was like 4 years old, and she asked him, he asked her to go to the washroom. She said, go with my sister. And then he asked her to eat. She said, go with my sister. And he said, how many sisters do you have? And this is she was feeling that like all the sisters, is sisters in Islam. Like 15 years ago now, I see her, she said, like, if I die, there is no one for my children. So I feel there is something hidden in the environment that makes people divided. And we need to be aware that I think it could be even the enemies of Islam want us to be divided. So I remember also in the 80s, I was for an interview in USA, and the Jewish there, they brought actually a rabbi to my interview, and he was telling me in my face that we know the strength of Islam lies in the sisterhood, brotherhood, and if we break this, we break Islam. So there is something going against the unity of Muslims, and we have to be aware of that, whether it is the individualistic approach or whether the enemies of Islam. And I think for us, when we go for the mosque, for example, nobody talks to anybody, nobody says anything. So there was a kids show, they did research, and they say, what makes people connected? So they actually found out when they did the research that showing vulnerability makes people more connected rather than if everybody's just shutting down and they don't want to talk about their problems. And when I ask people, why you don't talk to each other, what is happening in your life? No, we don't attract anyone to know anything. We just sit and say, Salaam alaikum, alaikum salam, and that's it. And I feel like we need to work on this, we are not even trusting talking. How about trusting with anything else? So I think we need to show some vulnerability, have a little bit of trust, and try to find out how we can counteract the media effect and the Western society trends. And I feel that we don't have any media, we don't have anything to counteract all the messages coming to our children. Because if my child values individualism, and he said, oh, back home you have this collectivistic approach, but here we don't need it, and I don't know what to tell him. So.
Yeah, actually, this is the current that individualism is spreading. Few days ago I had a meeting with some of our brothers who study in Hose in Qom from UK. So one of them asked me, in your experience, what is the greatest challenge? And I am aware of many difficulties that we have, okay? So I am not unaware of the problems. But I said, in my understanding, although we have many problems, and my heart is full of pain for many problems, but I said the major problem is individualism. This is affecting individuals, family, community. Everything is affected by individualism.
This is coming from the media, so we have to counter.
It is modern life. Modern life is this, that it's taking individualism even to the houses. Sometimes I say, you see, in the family, people live together, but they are not actually living together. They are just parked next to each other. You know, there's a difference between just being parked to each other and being a family. There is no interaction. It's just, you know, like few people who share, you know, house. You know, sometimes students, to make accommodation cheaper, maybe one is, you know, Muslim, one is Christian, you know, they have different ideas, but they share the same house and they pay, you know, together the rent. Our families might become like that. Everyone has his own plans and everyone is ready anytime to leave the family. Husband is ready to run away, wife is ready to run away, children are ready to run away. Because everyone is only thinking what is working better for me, not what is better for the family. So this stress that we are putting on social wilayah, although it's against the current, but actually this is the solution for many, many problems. It can save our families, it can save our youths, it can save our community.
I think if we need more workshops towards, like, you know, encouraging the marriage and family life and connecting people.
Yeah, we need more workshop, but also we need to establish this. You know, so if each of you try, at least among the people that you know, that you trust, make this as a, you know, mission for yourself. That I want to establish this at least with 4 families, 5 families, or 5 individuals, that we trust each other, we decide things together, we, you know, support each other. Then inshallah these little, you know, seeds can get together. And if we have workshops, such people can offer workshop. You know, can say, okay, we have established this, and these were the challenges, what we managed to overcome these challenges, and these are the beauties, how we are benefiting, our children are benefiting. Yes.
I think we lack acceptance in many things, accepting people the way that they are and just letting them be this way, but also in terms of how much of their love and good attitude they give to us. It's like, because what we're talking about requires a lot of sincerity. Like if I want to have this like social wilayah with someone or mahabba, it has to be sincere, it cannot be just from outside. So, but we don't let it develop because we just said like, okay, this is a particular amount of love I deserve from everyone, and if someone doesn't give it to me, or a group of people doesn't give it to me, or one group doesn't give it to my group, they automatically become enemies. Like we don't just accept it as it is. That's what they can suggest to us, and we can work this way. We can continue, and we can have our attitude to them. It's just that it creates this animosity all the time.
So the summary is?
The summary is probably the expectations.
Accepting what people are and how much they can give us.
Mm.
in terms of love.
Yeah. And you know, a mu'min is more concerned with what he can offer than what he should receive. You know, sometime when I say, for example, you know, Imam Baqir said, you know, this about, you know, putting your hand in the pocket of your brother. People say, there is no one to let me put my hand in his pocket. I say, this is exactly where you make the mistake. It's not that, you know, who is there that I can put my hand in his pocket. The message is to whom you have opened your pocket. When we talk about, for example, you know, the love and mercy between husband and wife, then husband goes to the wife, says, you know, you should, you know, give me this. Wife says, you know, to husband, no, this is to say, why I am not giving this to my spouse. This is the healthy approach. So, we should not be that much thinking of receiving. We should much be concerned, have we been giving this to our brothers and sisters? If we take this healthy approach, many of our problems would stop. Unfortunately, we have sometimes this bad habit of complaining too much. You know, we complain a lot. We should stop this and be positive. If people give us something, appreciate, you know, show love, we should thank them, you know, be grateful. But if they don't do it, we should find hundreds of excuses for them. Not that, you know, we blame them. So I agree with this suggestion.
We have 5 minutes until, so we have 2 more questions, Brother Mubarak. Did I miss anyone on the sister side?
There is 2 of them.
Okay. So we'll finish the sister side, but I mean...
Yeah, let's finish the sister.
Then sister, I don't know who was...
Just a quick comment.
Yes.
One thing that I suggest sort of in the future, if we could continue, especially with a group like KLC that has a bit of a wider reach, is to make sure we don't forget about the Shias that are living isolated. So, you know, when I moved to Ottawa from a community that was much smaller, I didn't have this connectedness with other people. It wasn't there. So when I moved, that was one thing I was searching for, and I noticed that, you know, the bigger cities, there's a large community, there's many more brothers and sisters that tie together, but then it's sort of siloed, like it's this group and then that group, and then there's not much reaching out, and when someone new comes in, it may not be the most welcoming because these people have been together for a long time. And Hamna, when I moved, there were welcoming people, so it worked. But I think we need to always keep in mind that there's someone, you know, isolated in a little place somewhere that is probably hoping for this kind of connection, and if we can somehow find a way to widen our reach, then that will also have a very positive impact.
Yes.
Any comments on that?
Yeah, it's very important. You know, we should always try to think about what people might go through and anticipate their problems. You know, sometimes we think everything is all right, everything is, you know, okay. So when we have new members of the community, when we have new members of our faith, you know, like revert brothers, sisters, you have to be a little bit, you know, here using your creativity and anticipate what they should go through, you know, maybe they're going through, and think about it. When a person comes to our center for the first time, we should think, you know, what this person might expect from us. So it's very important.
I think it's important to remember, like, although there's a lot of problems within the community, there's like as practicing Shias, I find that like we tend to forget and get distracted that in essence our hearts are all one, and like we all, at the end of the day, we all kind of have the same intention. And I think when we're working towards social wilayah and towards any like strengthening any social establishment, that it's really, really crucial to remind ourselves regularly about our intentions and like about the purpose of our actions. there are like small cases, which I wanted to ask if anyone had any advice on. Is you know, I think like most people that are working towards the improvement of our like social groups, you know, they're good-hearted and they do in good faith and they're good people in essence. But the issue is, and this is within families and within other establishments, like when some people become arrogant on some issues, or there's like a hint of arrogance or something, and then even something very small, unfortunately, can lead to large separations. And I was wondering if Maulana or anyone else had any advice on how to properly discuss things, just in general. Like, what's a proper way to approach someone and discuss an argument if they have two different views on it?
So to summarize, the fact that as Shias, more specifically, we all have the same goal ultimately, and what is the best approach with people with whom we differ, especially if they can come across as arrogant. Did I summarize that? Okay.
First of all, if we have differences of opinions, we should try not to be judging people based on this difference. You know, many times when we have differences, then we very quickly, very soon, we try to say this person has a problem. You know, as if it's not possible two mu'min disagree. Two mu'min can disagree, two pious people can disagree. But many times you see, when two people disagree, they say that person doesn't have taqwa, that person is selfish, that person is greedy. No, it's possible, two mu'min, even two brothers can disagree. So we should not quickly translate these differences, whether it be social, political, into moral language and religious language. We should respect people and say, my brother, my sister has another opinion. I have this opinion, he has another opinion. This is one point. The second thing is that we should always be happy to communicate. Stopping communication gradually creates walls of separation. So you don't talk, then after that you don't meet, and after that a wall of separation is created. And it's very hard after some months or some years of not meeting and not talking, then to go back. It needs bravery. So when there are people who differ in their opinion, we should respect them, we should be talking to them. If on this issue we differ, maybe there are other issues on which we can work together. We leave this issue aside. We don't need to agree on all the issues so that we work together. If we agree on one point and disagree in 99 points, let's work on that one thing that we agree. Yeah? Sometimes people say, we have few differences so we cannot work together. Okay, those differences, you leave it for the time that when you have consensus. Work on those things that you agree. So we have to know that the greatest thing that we have and the greatest thing that we have to preserve, the greatest thing that we have to protect is our unity. Many times, I meet youths in organizations, students, community, leaders. I say, whenever you disagree on something, on doing a project, and this is going to lead to division, don't do it. Because I don't think there is any project which is more important than the unity of the community. If you disagree and this is going to divide you, leave it.
Yeah, so actually we have, we're running late. Salah is at 1:30, and we have 10 minutes until Salah. So if you agree, then we'll take the questions and
Yeah, let's just.
we'll have. Yeah. So there was the brother I don't
We
know.
were asking for a solution on unity. When you look at it, I never forget, 1957, on a Reader's Digest, there was an article that my father had shared with me. And he says, if there's nothing, you need to read this. And it was a French journalist that on the Reader's Digest was saying that there is no force in the world that can amass people from all four corners of the world, irrespective of caste, creed, all right? That can bring people from all around the world into one place at one time, and that is the concept of Hajj. That concept of unity. Imam Khomeini, for the rest of his time, he talked about nothing but ummah that is wahid, all right? The only caveat to this, myself, have to go out the door. That's it. Bottom line, there is no I, there is no me, there is no myself, it's us. When we start looking, and that us is never possible unless we look at it and leave it all out. It's not about us, it's not about me, it's not what I am doing. When we are connected, and that is only in the spirit of love of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, as Rumi has put it to us. Without love, God does not exist.
Yes. Awesome.
So if you're looking for the concept of to be able to get together and unify, me, and it doesn't matter where you come from. It doesn't matter who your parents are. Just me, and myself have to go out the door.
And just in interest in time, we're just going to move to Brother Karim.
Thank you.
I will just, because we said a lot of very important concerns, but if I want to share something which is like practical solution. I think when I came to Canada 3 years ago, I was introduced to the youth club. It was like established in Ottawa, and like my brother Bassett introduced me to this. I think the execs back then, they didn't know the concept of social wilayah, but I think what they were doing is the same thing. Their idea was to have a small youth club for like 17 or 18 and above, which is not connected to any center, and the main language should be English. So I think this is one of the practical solutions in the West, because if you're having programs and everything in Arabic, Urdu, Persian, how can you do the social wilayah? So the main thing was to do the program pure in English. The second thing was from all the centers, like the Pakistanis, Lebanese, Iraqi, they all sit together every Saturday. They don't focus on the lecture. The lecture is just 30 minutes, and the rest of the night, sometimes like we finish at 2 a.m. It's all discussions, get to know each other. What I witnessed, and I got my job in engineering because I met someone there who referenced me. I witnessed people who gave loans to the brothers, and I'm not talking about like $100 loan, like $5,000 and like $6,000, and they are not even rich, but because of the brotherhood. And what you can see there, different maraja, different background, different ethnicity and everything. So I think it can be possible done.
Sure.
Maybe if it's a bit smaller, it's easier, and then it can grow. So I just want to share this, maybe to like give it hope, like it can be done.
Inshallah.
Then we finish, inshallah, with Brother.
Okay, I want to talk about another aspect of this problem, and that is, I think, aside from the work that we should do, there needs to be some work done from higher levels. For example, the Maraja and others. But one example that comes to my mind is, take this as just one example. So it's fine to have different ideas, for example, in Ahkam between Maraja, but this example for me is very hard to digest. For example, there's a big difference. There's a difference for saying for moon sighting, and in month of Ramadan we have big issue. I think there is if the according to Marja A and B, there's a difference in the beginning of the month. So I and my brother have different Laylatul Qadr, we have different Eid, and literally at the day of my brother's Eid, I'm doing haram because it's the day of Eid, but I'm fasting because my Eid is tomorrow. But so this is just one example. There are other problems that has to be solved. But for example, this one, I think Maharaja has to get together and solve this, come up with one solution. So if there is two Eids, how can we get in one center to have Eid? So this is also something.
It could be helpful if we had one Eid, but you can have two Eids and be united, and you can have one Eid and fight where should we go. You can follow two marja and be united, and sometimes wakils of the same marja take each other to the court. So it's the mentality that has to change. These things can help, but these are not the main reasons for division.
Just closing remarks.
I will just share. I really like the comment that Brother Karim mentioned, because we need to have some positive,
Yes.
things that are actually happening around us. So these are not like theories that are far away. I mean, if we look among ourselves here, how did we came here? Most of us in Montreal and the few nucleus in Toronto, we were connected like a family for years and years and years. So in Montreal, we've been working for at least the Quran Tadabbur sessions have been there since 2007. They are still running 2000, so 9 years, bi-weekly Saturdays, people know where to go. And then some connections. So my point is that if that brought us here, for those who are still doing there, realize the importance of that. And don't let go of those experiences that helped us come here easily because of life commitments. Because had many of us at the time, stopped those small activities, then we wouldn't have been here already. So let's look around us and search for those things that are actually connecting us now, and let's not forgo them for any reason, and try to build on top. Perhaps that's the starting point, because we already, most of us are connected. So let's put as much energy as we can with the existing small bonds that we have in Montreal, in Ottawa, and in Toronto. And there is less than few marriages happening, and we are, alhamdulillah, connected. So the bare minimum is actually making the current stronger, and then looking how to go. But let's never, like ever in our life, let go of that structure that's already here. It was before KLC actually. KLC was built on top of that. Yeah. So that's the point that I want to share. So it's not far. It's actually we've been connected for years.
And the good news also has to be shared. Of course, not to show off or to be proud, but as a blessing of Allah. أَمَّا بِنِعْمَةِ رَبِّكَ فَحَدِّثْ. So it's good. If we spread this good news, then people think that it's possible. Other people have already done it. Inshallah, we can also do it. So it's very important. So maybe, we should have on KLC website somewhere, we can mention these examples.
Yeah, that's what we did.
Yeah.
اللهم صل على محمد.
اللهم صل.
صل على محمد.
So after Salat, we have